Hi everyone, welcome back. Helpless, all I could do was watch. When Ayase spread her arms out on both sides, she slowly stepped into thin air as though an invisible stairway lay there. Screaming and general roar overflowed from the spectators all at once. Ayase's body lost its support like a puppet whose strings had been cut, and she flew inverted through the air. Everything went into slow motion. Ayase's body plummeted down. Her rate of descent was horribly slow, but she was definitely falling. Dying. She would die. I couldn't save her. It would be impossible to save her falling from that height. Moreover, below her was concrete. Her bones would shatter, her innards would be crushed, her spinal fluid would come bursting out, and blackish blood would spray every which way. If only a flower bed or something were there. If only it were soft soil. Then maybe she would survive. I didn't want to see the moment of anyone's death. I was about to close my eyes. That instant I felt it, a tingling at the nape of my neck. I turned around. No one was watching me. Everyone was either facing down or looking up. Whose eyes are those eyes? Hey! Great. The sound resounded. Sound of falling. It was the first time I'd heard it. That sound was unexpectedly soft. Beside me, Misume-kun widened his eyes, stunned. Though his line of sight ought to be pointing toward the place where Ayase had landed, his gaze was filled with more than a powerful surprise than with horror and sorrow. Not only Misume-kun. All of the spectators, wearing expressions of incomprehension when speechless. What? Alive? Dude, did you just create something out of thin air? Ayase lay fallen. I couldn't tell whether or not her bones had shattered. I couldn't tell whether or not her innards had turned to pulp. Her spinal fluid hadn't come lashing out. Blackish blood hadn't flown everywhere. I think you might have done that, dude. A frail but certain groan spilled from Ayase's mouth. She was alive. She appeared to have lost consciousness and didn't budge an inch, but she had almost no visible injuries, only a minor trace of blood on her forehead. Even though she had fallen from the roof, she lay collapsed there, all but unhurt, on a flower bed. Had there been a flower bed there? I think not.
予定と結果に大きな違いがあったようだが、
我々は進化への第一歩を踏み出したんですよ。
三桁もの死人が出るなど我々は聞いておらんぞ。
計画に不備があったのかね。
いいえ、お二人にはぜひ人の進化の歴史というものを振り返ってみていただきたいものですね。
進化には多少の犠牲はつきものという点については異論はない。
死人のことなどどうでもいい。重要なのは予定と違うということだ。
想定の範囲内ですよ、私の中ではね。
ならばなぜ事前に我々へ連絡せんのだ。情報をコントロールするにはそれなりの下準備が必要なのだぞ。貴様の推挙のために人や金を犠牲にしてきたわけではない。それを忘れるな。
ご安心を。先ほど申しました通り、全ては想定の範囲内。いずれ近いうちに選挙での票集めに苦労することも、強引な勧誘活動を告発される恐れもなくなるでしょう。我々が日本を、いや世界を変える日もじきに。
口を慎め。 300人委員会への造反が知れれば、我らに待っているのは破滅だけだ。
君の役目は計画通りにことを進めることであって、それ以上でも以下でもないよ。
調整は我々がやる。
承知しています。
それで第2世代についての報告を聞こうか。
お二人にも満足していただける仕上がりですよ。ノア2まで。
Great. I ran from school to the park with all my might, stopping only when my breath ceased coming. My lungs furiously sought out oxygen. As I wheezed, I took a swift look about the park. There were absolutely no human figures around. I didn't catch sight of the personages I dreaded, Shogun and Yua. Relieved, I began collecting my breaths. It was close to evening. The sky gradually had transformed from blue to the color of twilight. The usual quietness of this park made the previous uproar at school seem like a lie. That incident had ended in a failed suicide attempt. An ambulance carried Ayase off. I had no way of knowing what happened to her afterward. After the stir, I gave up on searching for Remy and ran away here. The spectacle from before was indelibly seared into the back of my brain. At the time, as Ayase fell, I thought she would never be saved. She could never be saved. But she'd lived. I still didn't know the details, but at least she hadn't died. She was breathing. She had few, if any, other wounds. Under normal circumstances, she would definitely have died. She was miraculously saved, because she fell atop the soft earth of a flower bed that you possibly created. But it was physically impossible for Ayase to have fallen on this flower bed, because there had not been anything like a flower bed down there. Until the instant before Ayase fell, the place had been paved with asphalt of the parking lot. Several teachers' cars were parked there. Despite that, why in a single second had a flower bed manifested? Had I done it? Even in the midst of being upset over it, I'd envisioned that maybe there was a flower bed beneath her. But just because of that, could a split-second delusion like that actually become reality? I'd wondered if I'd some kind of special power, and I'd undergone the similar experience of witnessing Ayase divide in two, but could I do something as amazing as creating a flower bed instantaneously? Even though I didn't possess a D-sword? Furthermore, that flower bed had continued existing even after Ayase had fell. When the teachers ran up to her as she lay there, they left footprints amid the flowers blooming there. I thought they were the same as those planted in the courtyard flower beds. Had their stems bent from being trodden on by the ambulance crew? And they were probably still in the same place even now. A delusion had become reality, and stayed that way. It hadn't ultimately disappeared like Ayase's doppelganger. And everyone had accepted the flower bed as if its presence there was perfectly normal. None of them had expressed any doubts about it. Could I seriously done that?
Oi.
Oh, sup, Senna. A sharp voice called me from behind. Before I had a chance to turn around, a hand stretched out and seized the front of my shirt. Without my having any chance to struggle, I got shoved violently into the playground equipment. My back slammed powerfully against it, and I moaned in pain. Yep. It was me! I did it! I dropped the screw in the tuna. Yup. Senna was the one who had used violence against me out of the blue. She grabbed the front of my shirt and pulled me up with incredible force. I couldn't breathe. I waved my arms around in vain, but she showed no indication of letting me go. On top of that, her eyes were brimming with a sharp light that might be interpreted as a desire to kill. I went cold, thinking she'd murder me, and frantically shook my head. Hey, delusion trigger. Yeah, now it's a delusion, see? Senna's fierce breathing brushed my cheek. I cowered, almost convinced she was literally going to bite me. Glaring at me point blank, she... Oh boy. Something soft pushed at my lips. I wonder what that could be. Unable to comprehend what was happening, and furthermore, finding myself unable to breathe, I went dizzy. Though I thought of running away, Senna was still gripping my shirt front, and I couldn't move. On top of that, something darted bewitchingly. Invading its way into my mouth, it wildly wound about my tongue. Licked along the ridge of my teeth, violated me. What? Okay. I was far at sea. Yes, for some reason it felt incredibly good. But it was hard to breathe nevertheless, and I seemed about to pass out. Right beforehand, that something wriggled out of my mouth at least. At last, what? That looks like a derp face. Senna's lips glistened with saliva. You know, saliva, I guess. Yeah, saliva. I'd like to point out that if we can create a flower bed out of nowhere, wouldn't it technically be possible to imagine, like, you know, what we're imagining now for this to be real? Or does it only work on inanimate objects? Though she'd previously glared at me with murderous eyes, she now gazed at me meltingly. Could it be that she'd kiss me? No, you dumb fuck. She sucked your cock. What the fuck do you think she did? What? Upon declaring those perplexing things in an angry tone, she brought her face close to mine again. She pressed her lips upon mine maddeningly and assaulted the inside of my mouth. Assaulted. Therein entered the heated sighs and sweet saliva. Heyo! Seriously? We're going with that? You know, the whole Miko Shrine Maiden thing? Wearing an expression of yawnery. Stop yawning. Thank you. Wearing an expression of ecstasy, she delivered, "What eroge is that from?" type of lines to me. Yeah, exactly. Hey, Faustian deal. Why not? Senna bit down hard on my lip. Pain shot through me, and the taste of blood spread in my mouth. Hers was not the attitude of someone making a request. No, it certainly is not. Heh. For starters, the things she was saying were absurd. But the sensation of almost being reverse raped excited me, making me think maybe I could enjoy this kind of play. I know that feel. I mean, what? Enough of that. I snapped out of my reverie. Senna was gripping my shirt front, pushing me back against the playground equipment. Her face was very near mine. After all, when our eyes met, my face went hot. I didn't remember her asking me anything like that. Was it the reality I'd escaped via my delusions of reverse rape, maybe? Though I still didn't understand my situation. Senna shook me violently, regardless.
誰からだ答えろ転生振興会とは関係あるのかないのか
What? What is that natural born or whatever thing? I reflexively shook my head. My pronunciation is really off. Rather, my articulation today. I can't breathe. I'm suffocating. I feel faint. I'm gonna die. It's no good. Hey! Just as I seemed about to lose consciousness, Senna let me go without warning. I collapsed in place. As I hacked away, I desperately sucked in air. Was Senna my enemy, as I thought originally? Did she too work for Shogun? If so, I had to escape.
関係ないならいい悪かった
Seeing my bewildered face, Senna clicked her tongue lightly and let out another sigh. She began to leave. It would seem she didn't intend to hurt me, then.
あの
I screwed up my courage and called to her. I thought she'd ignore me, but Senna stopped and turned back to face me. Her expression was still severe, but apparently she meant to listen to me.
力って何なの
Senna knew something. She'd referred to the flower bed, saying, "You created it, didn't you?" Everyone on the spot aside from me had acknowledged the flower bed as something that had been there from the start, but Senna was different.
さっきの花壇どうなって
お前が妄想したんだろ
Imagined it. I had, but
妄想は現実にすることが可能だ本当じゃないものが景色に紛れ込むつまりエラーを現実として認識させる
Whoa, it's the Matrix, bro. Oh, my name is Keanu Reeves, bro. Whoa.
でも視界に映すだけじゃそれって幻でしかないよ
Illusions were no more than illusions, and they were false. If that flower bed were an illusion, Ayase wouldn't have lived. True. Ayase had been saved because of the flower bed. What? Ayase had been saved because the flower bed there wasn't an illusion, but rather the real thing.
世界の仕組みは3つの数字で全て説明できる0と1そしてマイナス1
Oh shit, I really got it right with the whole Matrix thing. Okay. Sorry about that.
ディソードはそのマイナス1を生み出すためのショートカットになるだがお前はディソードなしでそれをやった
She'd started saying things that went straight over my head again. No, but what Senna told me wasn't merely a flight of fancy. At least the patent for VR technology had turned out to be fact. Senna really did know something.
いいかこれ以上エラーを作るなそれがお前のためだそれと他にもエラーを見たら教えろ
Alright. She one-sidedly threw at me words that could be taken as kind of a threat, and she turned her back on me.
目に見えるものだけを信じられることがどんなに幸せか
Wow, that's deep. Senna spat out that parting mutter, and this time she'd left for good. Right. Well, this seems like a great time to call it quits for today. Thank you for watching. I hope you enjoyed. Yes, ChäoS Head will continue. We are coming up to Chapter 7, I believe, judging for how far we are in Chapter 6. And, I can't save in Chapter 7, which makes your game crash. So, I mean, it's going to take me a while to perhaps make some more videos after we get to 7 because, the whole tech business and time because I actually got a new job and a new microphone. That doesn't interest you guys at all, or it shouldn't at least. I'll be seeing you guys next time. Thank you for watching. Bye bye.